So Kelly from law enforcement, basically what happens is she sees that these girls are gonna run after the brain savant test result coming out, and with artificial intelligence letting everyone know about it. So before they do, she says, "Oh, I have a front row ticket, so why don't I run after him first?" When in fact that's not how it works. How it works is the person like chooses himself. When I get my first work done, I choose myself. I just get married and I just start studying after that over and over again. That's just how it works. I don't need anyone running after me, touching my penis or my rectum or doing any of these sort of things all day, night long. I get annoyed. Yeah. When it's time for me to do so, then I'll do so. Like, I'll find it myself, and after I get my first work done. But yeah, so basically, yeah, Kelly put aside. Now I got to work on the Jeanette journal. So basically, this part of the journal is going to start describing about how there had too many false testimonies. So November 20th, 2025 was a false testimony that law enforcement knew about from before. They basically, what happened was they knew about it from before. They fabricated it. That was the first lie. Crime inciting didn't exist. In early January 2026, more lies, already confessed to the government informant from before November 20th, 2025. Okay, and then more lies early April 2026 that required phone conversations to have to be retrieved, only for us to find out that those were lies as well. Now, the thing about it is just the fact that, yeah, it's just the fact that, those fabricated false testimonies are caught. Law enforcement had their own, like the group chat false testimony that they had the person whom they get the defrauded money to, who made the group chat false testimony against me. And then you had other false testimonies that law enforcement made where you have basically you have the 10-year-old child claiming 25 years later in mid-January 2026 that I said anti-government things to him when I was a 10-year-old child in elementary school myself. Yeah, like very desperate moves. Anyways, so after that, the only thing that they have is they're going to say one of our own BFFs said something bad around Hassan as a child, so it's Hassan's fault as a child, even though his mother had taken permission for him to be there in the first place. What this part of the journal basically explains is no matter what was said, it didn't harm anyone. No matter what anyone could have said, whether my mouth or someone else's mouth, no one's car was vandalized. No one went and broke the under part of someone's car. No one went and broke the fire stick for someone's TV. No one went and broke the charging outlet for someone's house. No one went and tried to scam someone's daughter into sleeping with them by telling them that they were a CEO to try to scam someone's daughter into sleeping with them. No one was trying to force someone else to scam someone else's daughter to be sleeping with them or something like that. None of these frauds were run. No one was threatened that we're going to take oil out of your car if you don't go and scam someone's daughter into sleeping with me. Right now, we found out really clearly who the sex predator was and who wasn't. First of all, I never told anyone about my brain savant to begin with. I wouldn't have. That would be really stupid. You have a lottery ticket. Actually, much better than a lottery ticket. And before even cashing it out, you go around telling everyone you have one. Who would do that? No one. Basically, yes, pretty much that is what happened. And I told no one, but everyone knew by mid-June 2023. Who told them? Law enforcement. So after I won my case on August 25th, 2023, 2 months later, I was just like, I'm a triple savant. I know you know because you have a brain scanner, and I know everyone in town knows as well. I want to be able to study now. Okay, because I won my case August 25th, 2023, and law enforcement obviously was fabricating false testimonies against me, starting with the wedding crime that I have nothing to do with in August 25th, 2023. Despite the entire year of 2023, law enforcement did absolutely nothing except for run sex schemes and money fraud the entire year. So basically, yeah. So now, what it is law enforcement is going to try to claim that someone around me as a child said something bad around me, when in fact this part of the journal, it clearly explains the fact that no matter what anyone could have said around me, who would have been a BFF law enforcement to begin with, no matter what anyone could have said around me, it would not harm anyone. It would not damage anyone's car. It would not break anyone's fire stick. It would not break anyone's charging outlet. It would not scam some girl by telling her that I'm a CEO in order to be able to sleep with her. Okay, it's not gonna force someone, and I'm not, by them saying this, I'm not threatening to take oil out of someone's car if they don't help me scam someone's daughter into sleeping with me. Okay, these things are not done. No one is harmed by anything anyone said. No one, nothing of that sort of nature. Yeah, so basically, yes, there's a difference between saying and doing. When you say something, no matter how terrible it might be, it's still, as long as it's not hurting anyone, you haven't committed any crimes. And if someone has, by saying something, then that person should be held accountable, not the child. And the other thing is, that person and the people who knew about it, which are literally people in law enforcement who were so aggressively stopped 2 months ago by the government from their money fraud. Like, it literally required like the entire government to get on their back and say, if you don't stop this money fraud right now, we're going to fire you. Then that's when they literally stopped the money fraud, which was ongoing since 2022. And I've been reporting to the government since then that there's money fraud in the form of unemployment disability money that's been wire transferred to law enforcement's friends, mainly the person who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me, and the same person that fired the Grady Framer accused of wanting to rape and murder her from this very law enforcement team. And I've been telling the government about this, that there's money fraud being run in this law enforcement team, along with sex teams since 2001, and their BFFs, like other people like Assad narrating in the trial, are absolutely guilty of the wedding crime. And I was telling the government about this and the fact that I've committed no crimes or done anything wrong or bad my entire life. The entire time I had been saying this, and no one was listening. Finally, someone listened and they stopped it. But the fact of the matter is, you have to understand the fact that there's a difference between a crime and something that is said. No matter how terrible it is what someone said, it's still, as long as it's not harming someone, it's not affecting anyone, it's not doing anything to anyone or their life or their belongings or committing vandalism against their property, it's not a crime, okay? And if it would be, then you have to hold that person accountable, not the child. Okay, the only reason Junaid is taking this talking point right now is because he's had the police threaten on him by a girl who was coming after me, and then Junaid got envious, took her contact info from law enforcement, then called them and told them all kinds of lies about himself being a CEO and everything, only for the girl to find out and then call the police on him. Okay, and now Junaid is envious that my brain savant would get freed, and then then he would these girls would run after me, due to which he would get extremely envious. Okay, so the only reason these girls were even talking to him was because he was telling them stories that were not true about him being a CEO and this and that. Where in fact he works the same job as my sister, gets paid the exact same amount. The only difference is he loses his job every single year, never gets along, and this year he's supposed to be getting an early retirement. Okay, so the only reason these girls even talked to him was because he was telling them lies about himself, and now that the girls have found out, he has been having the police call on him or threaten to do so every single day in the past month, or more than a month or so. Okay, so yeah, that is literally what has been going on now. Now Junaid is envious that my brain savant is going to get free, due to which they don't have any fabricated false testimonies. They cannot make any. So what they have to do is try to exaggerate something that someone might have said around me as a child. The only problem with that is it would only be one of law enforcement's own BFF saying it, and it would only be saying, no matter how much you try to exaggerate, nothing that anyone could have said or even have done around me would have had done around me, like a person's watching a news channel and they say something that's considered anti-government or something because there was a war going on. That would be like doing, but nothing that they could have said or done would have harmed anyone, would have had any effect on anyone's life, would have had, like how my dad, the Grady Framer, was doing in 2011, had people join terror groups, or would not have had vandalize someone's property like their car, like what Junaid had done last month. It would not break someone's Fire Stick for their TV or their personal belongings like charging outlets like what Junaid had done. It would not threaten someone, cause them emotional distress, to tell them that they're going to take out oil from out of their car or damage their car like how Junaid did today and yesterday. It would not basically do any of these things that would be considered crimes. Vandalism, causing someone emotional distress due to them not scamming someone's daughter. Basically, yes. Even if I went and I told some girl that I had a brain savant that could give me that mark due to artificial intelligence marked me having the highest probability of being extremely rich than any other human being on this planet, it would still be a scam that I would be running because I haven't used my brain savant yet to accumulate a single penny of that money yet. So yes, that would be a scam that I would be running, and I have no interest in doing this. And I've told these people before that I have no interest in doing this. I understand that they overanalyzed June 24th, due to which the results came out, and they only overanalyzed it due to their greed. They wanted my brain savant results to come out and say that my brain savant doesn't exist or it's not as powerful, which is an incredibly stupid thing to do. But it came out saying the opposite, that I am Kim Peek Rain Man and that I have innovation and focusing along with that. And now they're pissed off and they want me to go and run these scams on these girls. Like, no, I'm not doing this. This is not my thing, and I don't do this. That's someone else's daughter, and like they want me to pass her along to someone like Ibrahim, the greedy framer, as well, who is a sex addict and a drug addict, both. He ends up in the emergency room every single week overdosing on drugs. Like, I'm not doing this, okay? Yeah, so basically they're threatening me all day, night long, including today and including yesterday, saying that they're gonna take oil out of my car or break my car or do things of that sort of nature. Yeah. So basically, yes, that is what they've been doing. So July 17th, 7:33 a.m. Okay, this is a safe light. We're going to break your windshield if you don't help us with this girl whose name is supposed to be that. And this is the person. Junaid uses this cream. Okay, he wants this done. Like, I'm not doing this. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing this. Yeah. And then this is July 21st, 6 p.m. This is, we're going to take oil out of your car. Yeah. Stuff like that. And then it's not just ending there. Yeah. So it's everything. It's like, this is July 19th, 9:23 a.m. We're going to take all out of your car. July 19th, 1:06 p.m. This is, we're going to break your car. This is Pep Boys. Okay. Yeah. And then it is July 19th, 1:07 p.m. This is Pep Boys. We're going to break your car. Okay. So these are basically threats. Trying to force me to scam other people's daughters, and I have no interest in doing so. When my brain salon gets freed, I'll get married when I can. This is no way of doing things, and I'm not going to do that. It would be a scam on my part, even if whatever artificial intelligence says I have, or I am saying I have, I haven't used it to make a single penny yet. So when we do that, then we'll think about it. Basically, yes. And there's no need to do this, and I'm not going to rush this. It looks like trouble, and I don't want any. I have enough people trying, not that I think the girls would scam me, but I have 3 people trying to scam me right now. Miss Deb for her married daughter, by the way, not divorced or separated. Clearly a scam. Fire the greedy framer, who's narrating against me that I'm a bad person whose brain savant should get locked up, wants me to marry 2 of her daughters, not just one. She just like choose from one of these 2. She got really greedy after the June 24th test was overanalyzed. Clearly proving that I am Kim Peek Rain Man and that I also have innovation and focusing. And then the third person obviously is Ibrahim, who also got greedy after June 24th was overanalyzed, and he asked me to marry his sister on July 18, 4 days ago. Yeah, basically a scam. He's just gonna get me to sign a prenup agreement. His sister is ugly, and I'm not interested in being a part of his family. It's basically a Ponzi scheme so that I would sign a prenup, and then after the trial is done and I run away from these psychos, then he harasses me in court for prenup money so that he has money for his drug addiction problem. That's basically all there is to it. Yes. Yeah, so basically this part of the journal basically explains that no matter what Junaid says, that anyone could have said around me as a child, when Junaid obviously wasn't present and only been given this talking point from law enforcement who can't say it themselves because of the fact that they're running sex games with Uncle Joey's in-laws since 2001, and due to which they have to run it with Uncle Joey as well. They've been running money fraud so aggressively, the entire government had to get involved and stop it 2 months ago in order for it to stop, and that money was going to law enforcement's team member who fabricated the group chat false testimony against me, and the person whom Farah the Greedy Framer accused of attempted rape and murder, causing the entire Indian government to have to get involved. Yeah. And basically go lecture Joe Biden on human rights abuses. So yeah, so that is what has been going on. So basically what this part of the journal basically explains is that it wouldn't be a crime. Whatever anyone could have said around me, it wouldn't harm anyone. It wouldn't damage or vandalize anyone's property. It wouldn't threaten anyone that if you don't go and scam this girl for us, then we're gonna take oil out of your car or break your car or do anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm not scamming anyone. I'm not running after anyone. I understand that they might be running after me, but that's just as a joke. And I don't do these things, and I'm just gonna do it like get married after my brain savant gets freed, okay? But yeah. So they have all these theories about me that my brain savant started with me meditating. And January 20th, 2026, we found out that everything I said about me watching documentaries as a child and watching it all day and night long, staring at the History Channel logo, was all true. They have this theory about me that I'm not scamming the girls because I'm playing hard to get or reverse psychology. Well, you only play these games till a certain point when the people are basically begging you and telling you that they're going to take oil out of your car is when you play the opposite and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to have to go sleep with them now. But obviously I can't do that even if I wanted to, mainly due to the fact that I have 3 people trying to scam me. Ibrahim for his sister 4 days ago, Farah the Greedy Framer for 2 of her daughters. Not just one. She wants me to choose between 2. Like, yeah, right. You're trying to scam me, trying to make false testimonies against me. Miss Deb, 3rd one. She wants me to marry her already married daughter who's not separated or divorced. Obviously a scam. Okay, prenup marriage scam is what this is called. You get them to sign prenups for you, and then you harass them for the rest of their life for money, like how they're harassing me in court right now. These are money predators that run after people that win lottery tickets, and I'm not a lottery ticket winner. I'm not idiot. Okay, I have a brain and I use it. I'm not going to be scammed that easily. I won't go anywhere near anyone. I'm not that stupid. So basically, what it is Junaid has been given these talking points by law enforcement, okay? And basically what law enforcement want him to do is say these things because law enforcement's been BFS with everyone running sex games and money fraud. Their money fraud basically only stopped 2 months ago when literally the entire government had to get involved and tell them, hey, you have to stop right now. So basically, nothing that anyone could have said around me as a child could have affected anyone, harmed anyone, vandalized anyone's property, like their car, had threatened to break anyone's car in case they didn't scam some girl and just helping you sleep with them, or doing anything of that sort of nature. It did not harm a single soul, no matter what anyone could have said around me as a child. The permission was already taken by my mother when I was an 11-year-old child, and my mother fulfilled her promise the moment I became even slightly mentally mature as a child, never for me to ever again be present in any setting where anything even remotely considered bad could be said around me. The new theories that law enforcement has been making after all their false testimonies and everything has been caught, and this child thing has not been working out, is that law enforcement's been saying that I was tipped off by law enforcement, due to which I was so smart as a child that I separated myself from every bad setting that there was. This I could prove in 10 seconds is a complete total lie, fabrication, and a baseless theory, due to the fact that if I was tipped off by law enforcement, then you got to understand the fact that if someone even remotely said anything you remotely considered bad around me, then I would have told that person as well, or would have made it certain around them that law enforcement was aware and present. If I did that, there would have stopped saying whatever they were saying, and the circus would have been closed overnight immediately, like how it was for my dad, the Greedy Framer, in 2011, which was much worse than just saying something. That was doing something incredibly dangerous, what he was doing, and you could watch the other videos to see what exactly he was doing. But this is only saying, but even there, it would have been closed down. But the facts and evidences will clearly show that it was not me making anyone aware of anything. In fact, it was law enforcement who was tipping everyone off. Law enforcement would actually go and become BFFs with people, and then they would run their sex schemes and money fraud with them. Obviously, that's how people would know about it. Law enforcement tipped off my dad, the Greedy Framer, in 2011, due to which circus closed down overnight, and such an abrupt closure of the circus that he was running from his house that I knew right away that he was tipped off. Either I'm psychic, due to which I know that he was tipped off, or he was having a circus at his house every single day, and then abruptly everything stopped, due to which I know that he was tipped off, obviously. And then Assad was tipped off right after the wedding incident, due to which he knows everything about the crime he committed, and he's narrating in the trial for that crime. Incredibly corrupt. Yeah, the criminals are all roaming around like law enforcement, and law enforcement wants to frame someone with a triple savant, whom they're trying to get to force to go scam other people's daughters into sleeping with them. And if I'm not doing that, then they're basically literally trying to frame me over and over and over and over again. Or when they're not able to frame me anymore because too many false testimonies. Okay, 10-year-old child claiming 25 years later in mid-January 2026 that I said anti-government things to him. Are you kidding me? Group chat false testimony coming out of their own BFF. That was complete total lie. They knew it was a lie. Okay, yeah, after all of these things, basically, the only thing that law enforcement now basically has is to try to claim that someone might have said something bad around me as a child, but that person would obviously only be one of law enforcement's own BFF. Now, the thing about it is just the fact that, yeah, so the thing about it is just the fact that you have to understand the fact that it's only something that someone could have said around me as a child, not something that someone's doing. And even then, you have to understand the fact that nothing that is being said is affecting anyone in any way, shape, or form. It's not a crime. It's not hurting anyone. It's not harming anyone. It's not affecting anyone in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. It's not vandalizing someone's car like how they just did with mine recently. It's not threatening to take oil out of someone's car in case they don't go and scam someone else's daughter like how they've been doing with me every single day now. And I'm not going to do this, okay? I'm not that would be like at the end of the day, you have to understand that would be me scamming myself. If I'm telling the truth about being a triple brain savant, and if artificial intelligence is not lying for me, I mean, you have to get with common sense here. I don't want to say this because the girls look like scam artists, which they're not. But all I'm saying is I'm already being scammed by 3 people. I can't do this even if I wanted to. If I did this, someone could have, like, not these girls. These girls are nice, but someone could actually try to scam me. In the end, try to file a lawsuit against me. And I don't need to do that. When my brain salon gets freed, I get married. If you can't find a girl for yourself, that's your problem, not my issue. I'm not doing this. Are you kidding me? No way. So yeah, basically this part of the journal explains very clearly the fact that anything anyone could have said around me as a child who would have been a BFF of law enforcement is not a crime. It's not. Definitely not on me as a child, since my mother had already spoken with law enforcement for beforehand and already gotten permission for me to be there in the first place. Okay, so yeah, and these people are only using these talking points despite Junaid not being present there, and Junaid committing a crime right now as we speak. Every single day he threatens to take oil out of my car if I don't help him scam someone's daughter. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that if I wanted to. Okay, I could get sued after my brain savant gets freed, and they could make a billion different accusations against me. I'm not saying they would. I'm not saying these girls would. I'm just saying in general. Like, I don't do this anyways. I don't leave home anyways. I barely, rarely ever leave home. Like, yeah, when my brain savant powers come, I just study. Anyways, I'm not going to do this. End of story. But they could threaten all they want. But this part of the journal, basically, it explains that, it basically explains that no matter what any adult could have said around me as a child, it would not constitute a crime in the first place. And if it would be considered bad, it would be bad for that adult himself and their BFFs in law enforcement who knew about it, didn't do anything except for run sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws since 2001, and the other thing are money fraud that were still ongoing till this very day today, and only stopped 2 months ago after the government had to forcefully get involved. So basically, yeah, let me read this out to you. If one of law enforcement's own BFFs, like Uncle Joey, says anything even remotely considered bad around me as a child when I did not even have the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, it is not my fault, but the fault of the adult who said it and the fault of the other adults who knew about it and did absolutely nothing about it. Mainly the adults in law enforcement who were told the main goals of the investigation and never cared till this very day when they were running their money fraud very stubbornly until only about 2 months ago, along with every one of their BFFs or law enforcement sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws that are still being run till this very day today. So basically, law enforcement's to be blamed. And the person who said it. Why? Because law enforcement's been BFFs with them, like Uncle Joey since 2001, running sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws, and due to which they have to provide it with Uncle Joey as well. So if Uncle Joey's in-laws are like, well, you're getting sex from us, then you got to provide for Uncle Joey too. Then they provided for Uncle Joey too, by running sex schemes for him at places like funerals in November 2023, things of that sort of nature. Yeah. So my single mother cannot be blamed for anything that any of law enforcement's BFF might have said, since the entire point of me even being there was that I was being adult supervised by one of law enforcement's own BFFs, with me only being there due to my single mother being at work at the time, after getting permission from law enforcement for me even being there in the first place. The other theory that law enforcement has recently made about me being tipped off by law enforcement at any time cannot be true, since the facts and evidences clearly show and prove me simply no longer going anywhere after it, no longer being required, while law enforcement's BFF who said anything even remotely considered bad around me, like Uncle Joey and anyone else, being tipped off by law enforcement themselves. So basically, law enforcement cannot claim that I tipped off someone or that I even knew about them, when facts and evidences clearly show that law enforcement themselves went and tipped them off. You know this for a fact because money fraud was just stopped when? 2 months ago. Meaning what? They were running money frauds with everyone they possibly could. No one knows who this, well, I don't know who this money fraud person is that they're running the money fraud with. There's no way I would know. No one told me in law enforcement, but I know for a fact they are running it due to the fact that they asked everyone around in 2022 before they started their money fraud. And since no one gives their own money, law enforcement would have the person basically apply for disability, they would get rejected, and then they would apply for unemployment the next day. They would no longer be disabled anymore. Law enforcement's been watching me 24/7, so they know for a fact no one told me about this, but it's a known fact. Okay? Yeah. They are very corrupt, and this is literally all they've been doing since 2001, along with running sex scenes with Uncle Joey's in-laws since 2001. Literally only cared about me from the moment they found out about me being a triple brain savant with increasing powers over time. And if you don't believe me, then ask them to do a 30-minute test. The reason they won't do a 30-minute test is due to their sex addiction. Their sex addiction led them to basically do overanalyze the brain savant test from June 24th. And because they gamble on it, they thought that, well, we might as well just gamble on it now because we're already getting rejected by the girls, and they're already calling the police on us and threatening to do so. So the only option we have now is basically to overanalyze the brain savant test from June 24th, gamble on it, and hope that artificial intelligence is going to say that brain savant either doesn't exist or is not as powerful as normal human capacity, which was not what happened. And said law enforcement, artificial intelligence said, brain savant I have instantaneous photographic memory, just like the one Kim Peek Rain Man has. But except for that, I also have innovation and focusing, and that my powers increase over time. So, yeah, there you go. So, overanalyzing it, they gamble over it. I made a video about this earlier, and I told them, no one's gambling over here. I know what I have, which is why I ended up in Russia. And these people are not stupid enough to not take the bait and do a 30-minute test when they know for a fact that I put it under oath on video and that they could win their entire trial in 30 minutes time just by doing a 30-minute brain savant test, and they wouldn't require any more fabricated false testimonies or anything of that sort of nature. The reason we know they know is due to the fact that they would do a 1-minute test. Artificial intelligence, they would basically cheat. Artificial intelligence would tell them that, hey, he's Kim Peek Rain Man. If you do the 30-minute test, he's going to run you over all up and down the hill. He'll definitely win. So then they wouldn't do it, obviously. So no one really gambled over it. But yeah, every year they run their mouth. This year they ran their mouths and I made them an excellent deal. I was just like, hey, I'm putting it under oath on video. If I'm not Kim Peek Rain Man in 30 minutes, I'm going to put it under paper signature that you won your case because my entire theory against you, that you were obsessed with my brain savant, due to which you've been harassing me since the moment you found out about my brain savant, is absolutely false, due to which you win your case right away if I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man at the end of the 30-minute brain savant test, due to which obviously they didn't do it. They weren't going to do it. They were losing they're sex addicted. These girls weren't listening to them. They were losing their power over these girls. They're not going to do a 30-minute brain savant test when artificial intelligence already told them what the results are for the 30-minute test if they did it. And I'm not psychic enough to know what artificial intelligence said about my brain savant, unless if I was telling the truth. So yeah, they're obviously not going to do it. But last year, they were running their mouths again last year, October 2025. So I made them a deal. Like in the movie The King, King Henry makes a deal with the French prince. He goes to the French prince in the right before the Battle of Agincourt. He goes to the French prince, and King Henry tells the French prince, he says, look, I'll duel you, and it's going to be me against you. Whoever wins the entire case. And that's what I told them last year, October 2025. I was like, I'll duel you guys in Moscow, Russia. I'll be there in 2 weeks, and we're going to have the duel over there, 30-minute brain savant test. Whoever wins. If I win this brain savant test, it basically means that you have been running sex schemes and money fraud since 2001. The only reason you're obsessed with me is due to you finding out about me being a triple brain savant and being obsessed and envious over it, and due to your sex addiction, you wanted me framed. Coincidentally, they tried to frame me right after the brain savant test in Moscow, Russia, on November 14th. And yeah, if you win your case in Moscow, Russia, 30-minute brain savant test, you win the case, which basically means that they basically use so much mental torture on me that I literally jump off the cliff afterwards. Yeah, for me, it's a death sentence. For them, they just lose their case. And I told them, I made this deal for them, and because they were running their mouths in October 2025, and I told them, I'll meet you in Moscow, Russia. We'll see what happens then. It's just like that scene from the movie The King. King Henry goes to the French prince right before the Battle of Agincourt, and he says, I'll duel you. Save the courts and everyone their time and effort. King Henry says, save everyone's time, effort, and lives. We'll duel each other. We'll find out who wins, and then that person who wins the case. And that's exactly what I told them October 2025. I said, I'll duel you in Moscow, Russia, 30-minute brain savant test. Whoever wins. If I'm anything short of Kim Peek Rain Man in Moscow, Russia, at the end of the 30-minute brain savant test, you win. If I am Kim Peek Rain Man, I win. But I also win my case then as well, because I proved that the entire motive while running sex schemes and money fraud with every single person I've ever known, the entire motive for wanting to frame me so bad is basically my brain savant. So yeah, so I told law enforcement there and then that this is going to be it, just like the movie The King. And yeah, law enforcement obviously refused. Talk about a movie being repeated. Law enforcement refused, and they were just like, what are you, scared of the court case? We're having the court case. We're not doing 30-minute brain savant test. Even though this is their main motive, and this is the reason why. And they didn't do it. They were scared that their sex addiction problem might get ruined, and the girls are not stupid. Everyone knows what this is really all about. Anyways, so Yeah, so they basically tipped off everyone, not me. And if their theory was true in any way, shape, or form, then it would have been me tipping off everyone. Anyways, I gotta take a little break and then I come back.